So this is another piece of wood-fired porcelain. But this is Mr. Adil Ryder's piece. Nobody can take it. It's his, unless you want to fight him. But in comparison to the previous vase, this one has much less ash. So there's a lot more bare clay surface. But it's the same in that it didn't have any glaze going into the kiln. All of this color and all of these textures came as a result of the process. So this beautiful red, which we call flashing, was drawn out of the minuscule amounts of iron inside this porcelain clay body. And this one was fired upside down. So inside the kiln it was like this, and then it was on a post with a piece of clay in the middle, a round piece of clay. And as the flame comes this direction, it swoops up into the bowl, breaks around that wad mark, and creates kind of like a comet. Just like that, like water breaking around a stone in a river. And over the 90 hours of firing, these kind of colors and textures develop. So you can see the kind of light sheen on the rim and on this top side, because this was what was the horizontal surface that all the ash was kind of falling on. And then right here you can see the shadow from the foot. So the flame broke around the foot here and left a shadow right there. Directional flame. What we have is a Anagama fired piece of porcelain that was unglazed going into the kiln, but as a result of the firing process has become decorated by the wood and the ash and the smoke and the flame and the heat. So all of these really lovely colors are all a result of firing this kiln for over 90 hours with over 7 tons of Casuarina wood. So what happened is that it was laying on the bottom of the kiln on this side, propped up by little pieces of clay with shells on them. And then at the very bottom of the kiln you get the most kind of buildup of wood and ash, because that's when you throw the wood into the kiln, it kind of lands down there. And it's for the majority of the firing, there's a coal bed, there's charcoal burning down there. And so this is just smothered in that. All the heat, all the ash is landing on here and melting and melting and melting and creating these beautiful rivers of green. And this one actually made it up and created this nice little drip that got frozen in time. The Japanese call these dragonfly eyes. But yeah, so these milky rivers, they're coming from silica inside the clay and inside the wood ash. And so it's kind of like an opal. Like if you've ever seen an opal ring, those are just like layers and layers of silica that have been built up over a long time. And with a piece like this, it's essentially the same process, but condensed into a 90-hour firing. And so it's like creating geology. Crystals growing in the surface of the ash. That dark gray color comes from carbon molecules trapped inside the glaze matrix. You can look inside as well. There's kind of a pool of the ash on the interior, because that's where it all ran down there and created a river. Wood-fired porcelain clay. And that's wood-fired porcelain.